The Marching Roundtable is proud to be an official media partner of Drum Corps International.
Thanks for coming to the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel, sharing great information to help you succeed in all the marching arts. While you're here, we hope you'll subscribe.
The thing that has always drawn me to the Crossmen and made the Crossmen more special for me is the attitude, the jazz, the I'm better than you kind of attitude. The alumni show is going to be a lot of favorites. I'm not gonna allude to too much. I don't want to spoil the surprise necessarily, but it's going to be really cool. A lot of really great Crossmen favorites will be played. They're all going to be, wearing some really cool old school uniforms with capes and Aussies, and it's going to be awesome.
That's great.
Greetings from DCI. This is Drum Corps International staff wishing Marching Roundtable and Tim Hinton the very, very best on your 1,000th episode. We're so grateful for everything that you have done for marching arts all around the world. Keep up the great work. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Marching Roundtable podcast. This is Tim Hinton, the beast of the marching arts. We're talking Crossmen today, and I have the corps director, Chris Lyman, with me. Chris, how are you?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time in the middle of a really busy summer to talk with me. Everybody, if my voice sounds a little crazy, I'm fighting a little sinus thing, but if you're watching the video, I have my Starbucks medicine ball, which I think has amazing special qualities of healing. So I'm going to be sucking that down the whole time. So Chris, I think everybody knows who you are, of course, but just explain, introduce yourself.
Sure. My name's Chris Lyman. I'm the corps director for the Crossmen Drum Radio Corps. This is my 9th season with the organization. I marched as a member back in from 2009 to 2012, and now I'm running the whole thing, which is kind of fun.
I love whenever I get to talk to somebody who gets the opportunity to do that. An organization that meant so much to them, still means so much to them, and then they get to take on such an important role. That must be exciting.
It is very exciting. I'm supremely invested in everything that we're doing here, and just the fact that we're able to celebrate our 50th year right now and be able to create so much excitement and member investment in what we're doing is super awesome.
Well, congrats on 50th anniversary. That is such a big deal. I'm so excited to hear about it. So I feel like every time I hear somebody talks about a major anniversary like this, you think back, well, when I think of the Crossmen, where did that start, right? So, well, I want to ask you, Chris, what was the first time that you were aware of the Crossmen or saw them perform?
That's a tricky one, because I used to go to the Lake Highlands Dallas show whenever that was still a thing, and I believe I saw probably 2004 Crossmen first, maybe 2002, but I have a hard time recalling that. I remember another drum corps that I actually auditioned for originally, and then I chose to go with the Crossmen and build something special, which we have. So
it's very cool. Well, I'm going to date myself because I saw the Crossmen the first time I went to DCI finals. Okay, everybody, 1979. Yes, that's how old I am. Okay, so let's get past that part. But 1979, Chris, I don't know if you know, I'm sure you know the history, but the Crossmen shockingly did not make it into finals, and they certainly should have. It was a huge controversy that year. How in the world did that happen? But anyway, I remember seeing them perform not only at prelims at the time, but also they did an exhibition as the winner of they let everybody perform again who didn't make it into finals. Anyway, they performed again, got a really high score. But I will never forget all that Superman music. The movie Superman had just come out in 1978, the year before. It was really topical. Everybody was all excited about it. They did this whole giant swath of their show from Superman. At the end of the show, and if you've ever seen these videos, at the end of the show, there's Superman up on the. So I'm like the biggest Superman fan. I actually have a Superman tattoo on my arm. Like, I'm a huge Superman fan. So that resonated with me back then, and still to this day. I remember how amazing the corps was. I'm not such a weird, random most people don't think of Crossmen and think Superman, but like I always do.
Yeah, yeah. The thing that has always drawn me to the Crossmen and made the Crossmen more special for me is um, the attitude, the jazz, the I'm better than you kind of attitude. And I think this is something that I've told some of our new members this year, is we're the only drum corps in existence right now that has survived a merger and beaten every other active drum corps without winning a championship. And that resonates with me so heavily. There's times where we've beaten the Blue Devils in feet, and we've beaten, Crown and Brass many times, and people forget about that. And it's really awesome. So when you look at our history, 92 Crossmen is like a prime example of that. 97 Crossmen is another great example of that, where the corps just plays their butts off and plays some really cool music. And it's just, that's the attitude, everyone remembers that. And I think that what we're brewing up right now in Oklahoma, we're wrapping up our spring training right now. What we're wrapping up right now is going to be something really close to that. It's going to be really special. I can't wait to see people's reaction to what the Crossmen of 2024 is going to be.
That's awesome. Absolutely. We all think about that jazz, all those Matheny shows, Birdland, like that, of course, comes from, of course, Russian Christmas music for old schoolers like me.
Oh, yeah.
All those things are, and the Crossmen, you're right. Like, to survive for 50 years and be around in all the different ways that it happens is quite amazing. And of course, if everybody's watching the video version of this, you have on this amazing polo with bones on it. And I have to tell you, that is like every corps wishes they had like that cool of a thing. You know what I mean? Like that Bones appears somewhere in the stadium and everybody's looking for him, and then it's always chill bumps.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we especially with it being the 50th, we're definitely expecting Bones to be very excited to be there. Of course, we're gonna have a lot of excitement surrounding Bones this summer. And then of course the Alumni Corps, they're going to be doing their thing as well, which is another added excitement factor to what we've got what we've got cooking. It's going to be exciting.
That's amazing. So you mentioned the Alumni Corps. Let's talk about all the special things going on for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah. So obviously, we have the Alumni Corps this year. Let's go ahead and talk about that first. From what I remember, we have about 350 people that are going to be marching on the field for the Alumni Corps, and then another 100 or so on the sidelines doing more. Not to mention the amazing admin team and support staff that have been behind the scenes working on all of the great things. I will give one huge shout out to the Stemets and the Reedies, Doug Stemet, Danita Stemet, Rick Reedy, and Donna Reedy as well, doing all the work behind the scenes, as well as all the other staff members that are there, putting together something really cool. The alumni show is going to be a lot of favorites. I'm not gonna allude to too much. I don't want to spoil the surprise necessarily, but it's going to be really cool. A lot of really great Crossmen favorites will be played. They're all going to be wearing some really cool old school uniforms with capes and Aussies, and it's going to be awesome.
That's great.
The other exciting part about what we're doing this summer is we're going to have a lot more alumni support, and we're also going to be traveling with Spirit of Atlanta a lot, which a lot of people probably don't understand the full relationship between Spirit and us, but there are a sister corps. We've done a lot with them throughout the years. When we've needed help, they've helped us, and vice versa. So it's really exciting that we actually get to start our summer out in Conway, South Carolina, with Spirit of Atlanta. And then also we'll kind of follow them all the way back towards Texas and then back out east again. But that's going to be really fun. I really like working with Chris Moore a lot. Everything that they got going on over there in Spirit Land is really exciting, and they've got a cool show cooked up too. I'm excited to see what they do. And then of course, our show, the 50th anniversary show, is called Lush Life. The show Lush Life is actually called That after the Billy Strayhorn chart, Lush Life. And
Great
you know, there's
song.
gonna be a couple. It's an amazing song. I cannot tell you. Every time the choir is playing it, I get a little excited. I get a little too excited. And the the joy of it is really awesome. The show talks a lot about, or shows a lot about, the balance between having all of the glitz and glamour, and having all of the vices in life that make you enjoy life, but then eventually gets you to the point where I don't need these things, you know, and the members are performing the crud out of this show, man. I mean, I know they're still in the learning phase. They haven't really gotten to clean it yet and refine it fully, but they're gonna be they're going to perform the crud out of this show. And you know, on top of that, we're going to look different. We're not going to look like the Crossmen that we've looked like for the last 50 years. There's going to be a different uniform. And we're not even calling it a uniform on our side of things. We're calling it a costume, to just kind of get a little bit more, with the new generation of drum corps, just kind of fall in and fit in with what everyone else is doing. And it looks really great on the field. You know, the props and the costumes works really great with the backdrop of what it will be, you know, for the whole season. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. When I pulled up the repertoire, and when I was looking at what it was, like the first time I saw it, I said, well, that's really Crossman. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing about it that was like, well, they shouldn't be playing that. You know, like I was like, no, it was very jazzy. It was very that sort of, well, that Lush Life song, for example. I can't wait to hear it because there's great music choices.
Yeah, and I have to give all the props to all of this to Ed Devlin, our program director, and the rest of the design team. They have absolutely knocked it out of the park. You know, Drew Shanefield is our brass writer. He has, like, I've always been a big fan of his music and his arrangements. This is by far his best work yet. I cannot undersell that. It's his best work yet. You know, and then Tim Mikan, he was our color guard caption head last summer. We promoted him to our visual director, visual coordinator. I can't get the title correct. I never can. But his work is fantastic. I mean, we're getting into a new style of visual that's a lot more good for staging and putting people right where they need to be for the right points. You know, it's great. We've brought on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Please.
No, I was just gonna say these are like some ringers. You know what I mean? Like Ed Devlin is like legendary in the activity for all that he's accomplished in Blessed Sacrament, et cetera. And then, you know, of course, we know all the work of all these others. So I don't think anybody questions like who's making it happen. You know, like we're all excited about that.
Yeah, and Ed Devlin, you know, he's I think this is his 15th year with the Crossmen. You know, he was here from 2000 to 2001, and then he jumped back with us into 2011 and has been with us ever since. I mean, great work. I mean, I've always enjoyed working with him, and it's funny, you know, having been a member for Ed Devlin and now I'm his peer. It's just so funny. You know, I joke with him all the time. We've got such a great relationship, but we pick on each other all the time because he's like, man, I should have just cut you back in 2011.
That's amazing.
But it's good. Yeah, and again, Ed Devlin, Drew Shanefield, I can't speak enough about him, and Tim has done such a fantastic job with the visual design, and then bringing on two new faces for the percussion staff was also a very interesting move, and I'm very, very excited about it. Ray Ulibarri is our battery coordinator, and then we brought on Juan Adagin for our front ensemble writing, and he is smarter than I've never seen a smarter writer. He's very intelligent, knows his music better than anybody else. Nobody can break it down better than him. He's really knocking it out of the park. Plus, my stress of adding timpani to the show. I don't like adding timpani, but we have a really fantastic timpani. The logistics of timpani is just my absolute bane of my existence. You know.
Well, yeah, schlepping those around is not fun, but if it's important to the show, it's important to the show, right? So
it's a great color. And the member that's playing the timpani for us this year, he's a fantastic performer. He's going to do great things. And, you know, he's a San Antonio native too, so it makes it even better for us. So, you know, just kind of rooting for the home team.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are the kids doing? Like, how are the members going? How's the attitude? Are they excited? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure the 50th anniversary sort of ramps things up for them too.
Yeah. There's an interesting approach that I started last year with the members that has really kind of escalated and carried on. And I spoke briefly about it earlier, is the investment. You know, I want it to be their drum corps. I wanted them to be the ones kind of telling us what they want and what they want to do. Now, obviously, there's times where I have to say, okay, that's not reasonable. We're not going to do that. But, you know, that's where I become the responsible adult in the room. But the members are really doing amazing. You know, I've let them decide all of the tour jobs. I've let them decide, you know, some scheduling things to get some more time off and rest their bodies correctly, so that way they can go into rehearsal fully prepared and energized to do their jobs correctly and properly. You know, the energy and the vibe around them is just electric. You know, we have a lot of new faces in a lot of different sections, but we also have a ton of returners. We probably have about 60% of the drum corps is vets, and 50% of the horn line is vets. So, you know, a lot of returning faces, which makes getting into the process and learning the show a lot easier. And they're doing it great at a high level. You know, they're just kicking butt. You know, it's awesome to watch them work, and when I see the joy on their faces, it makes me happy that we're doing the right thing.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, you're giving the students such a great experience. The corps members are, you know, the drum corps experience, as we all know, when we had it changed our lives and it made us better people, and it helped us for all the things we've done since. And so I'm always excited to hear about anybody that's being able to have that experience. And I appreciate what you and your whole team are doing to make sure they have that wonderful experience. Is there anything else about going on the last year that's brought you to where you are now that you want to mention?
You know, I have to be incredibly thankful of the entire administrative staff that we have here. You know, I can't thank them enough. You know, and I'll throw out all their names out. You know, freaking Marshall Howell, my operations manager. He's a fantastic guy, and he's been working his butt off for both our merch redesigns and a bunch of other things behind the scenes that we don't want to spoil too far yet. Rico Gomez, our corps manager, he's actually a Crossmen Hall of Famer. We brought him back last season, and he's been absolutely fantastic behind the scenes. Doesn't want the recognition, doesn't want the glitz and glamour, but he busts his butt for us, and he does a really great job. You know, and then my seasonal staff, all the people that I bring in throughout the summer, you know, Zach Christ and Jeremy Castro and Cody Pridgeon and Mike Ryan, and I have, you know, the name goes on. The list is endless of how many people, but the most important names on that is Jenny Cepeda and Jessica Butler and Aiden Quintanilla, my food staff. I mean, the way we've revolutionized how we do food is amazing. And I say revolutionized, but it's nothing new. It's just different than the way Crossmen has done food in a long time. And it makes it really exciting when you can, on the back side of things, the money side of things, when you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive. But then you think about it and you're like, wow, okay, actually we're spending really well, and we're doing things the right way, and the members are fed. You know, yeah, we've had a little bit of growing pains with that this year, but we're making it happen at a high rate, and the food is good. The members are happy, they're fed. It's awesome. You know, I can't commend my food staff enough for all the work that they've done.
Yeah, I think that those folks that do feed the corps, all the corps all over the country, they're the true unsung heroes. You know, if anybody's watching this, go to marchingartseducation.com and just put in like food truck or food staff or feeding a corps, and you'll find a lot of interviews I've had with them. I love talking to those people because they are really amazing. They have long days, and they you know, they do it just out of the love of their heart. And
yes.
So if you're one of those people and you happen to be listening to this, thank you so much for for that hard work. I love to hear that you're taking care of the students. They're going to be well fed. I mean, it takes a lot of calories to keep powering these students during the season.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that we're doing it with a 50-year-old food truck makes it even more impressive.
Wow.
We've had to make some adjustments to the truck in the off season to make it last. They're not expensive. They are very expensive investments. So food trucks are very expensive, and we don't think that buying a new truck is the best move for us right now.
Sure.
So we're trying to make this one last. And the best way we can do that is just keep repairing things, keep adding to it.
Of course.
It's working.
Yeah, it's awesome. So when I think back on the Crossmen, I think of so many different shows. I'm not going to sit here and wax poetic the whole time, but it's the first time I remember seeing a flag soloist on the field. That was one of those early 90s shows, I think. So that was like a big wow to me. Nobody had ever done that. And it's like one of those innovations the Crossmen brought. And then they were able to pull off all these Matheny tunes and all these jazzy tunes like Birdland. These are hard on the field. This is really hard to get the right feel, the right style. That percussion writing and the writing for the brass, always just stellar. I mean, that when I think of the Crossmen, I think that you can't not think about how they were able to create that vibe and that feel that was appropriate each time. It's just quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. The thing that I've been preaching to the members and everything, and actually we even had Mark Thurston come on during our history night and talk to us a little bit about his perspectives of the Crossmen and what we do and why we do it. And the thing I've been preaching to my members this summer is don't worry about scores. When we get to the shows, don't worry about that. That's not your job. Your job is to be the best version of yourself and make sure that you play your music to the best of your ability, whether that's with a flag or with a rifle, with a saber, with a trumpet, with a baritone, whatever it is that you're holding in your body and using. You got to do it to the best of your ability, and always strive to be better than the day before. And yeah, would I like to be there on Saturday night? Yeah, I would love to be there on Saturday night, but I don't want to focus on that. I want them to have the best experience possible and learn how to be more perfectionist, like more able to get tighter knit on their craft, get better at what they are doing, and just be the best version of themselves. And I think if they do all of that, it's gonna speak for itself. And I have my own stories. I don't want to make this about me. It's not about me. It's about them. I want them to have their chances to do that for themselves.
Yeah, you wanted to come away from the season with no regrets, knowing they did the best they could the whole time. And regardless of what happens at the end, they're going to have this incredible experience. I mean, the way the drum corps activity is right now, there are so many corps that all deserve to be in the top 12. It's ridiculous how great the corps are, so deep in that field. So, whatever happens, it's going to be a great summer. 50th anniversary. Well, it's amazing. It boggles the mind, and really it's a huge accomplishment to everybody over all the years that have been there and kept the Crossmen rolling and successful and part of our activity. I'm so glad that that's happened.
Yeah, me too. I can't say one year in particular is my favorite without really getting over the top about it, and I have to say, this one is definitely going to be my favorite. Without a doubt, it's going to be so freaking cool. And I'm sure some people have seen us promoting it before we filled the position. We will have a string bass player on the field, and that's going to be an added really awesome color that's just going to amplify this show to the next level. It's going to be so cool.
Love it. Well, I can't wait to see the whole production. It looks like it's going to be amazing. 50th anniversary. So congrats to everybody involved and everybody who's ever been involved with the Crossmen. Our hats off to you. Cannot wait to see Bones show up in a stadium near you. And make sure you see Drum Corps live, everybody. Go out and see the Crossmen. Stand up, clap, and watch for Bones.
Awesome.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me, and good luck to you, the whole Corps, this summer.
Thank you.
Marching Arts Education is the home of the Marching Roundtable podcast, We give you access to the top marching arts professionals through live webinars, podcasts, videos, interviews, and online coursework. With over 1,000 podcasts and hundreds of webinars and videos, there are hours of great professional development for you and your staff. Sign up for a membership to Marching Arts Education to get complete access to all webinars, videos, and podcasts, plus discounts on coursework. Many directors are using professional development funds through their school or boosters to make these resources available to their staff. Imagine what you could do with so many great new ideas from the top professionals in our activity. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and sign up for our newsletter to find out about the latest podcasts, webinars, and new content. Find all of this and sign up at marchingartseducation.com.